I didn't grow up speaking English, yet today I can use it confidently and naturally. How did I manage that? Not by memorizing dull textbooks or sitting through endless boring lessons. I discovered a smarter approach, and I'm going to share it with you. If you want to learn English quickly while actually enjoying the process, you're in the right place. Before we get started, do give this a like, subscribe, and share it with anyone you know who's struggling with English. Let's improve together. Reading and how it helps you master English. Reading is one of the most effective ways to grow your vocabulary, understand the language more deeply, and feel more confident when speaking. Through reading, you see how words fit naturally into sentences. You pick up new expressions, improve your grammar, and begin to think in English. Many believe learning a language is all about speaking and listening, but reading is just as essential. It helps you recognize words faster, understand sentence structures, and see how English is really used. In this lesson, we'll explore why reading matters so much and how you can use it daily to boost your English. Let's dive in. The benefits of reading when learning English are huge. It's one of the most powerful tools to develop your language skills. It introduces new vocabulary, strengthens your grammar in a natural way, and improves your comprehension. Let's look at how it can completely transform your English journey.
Expanding your vocabulary. One of the greatest advantages of reading is that it exposes you to new words in context. Instead of memorizing endless lists, you encounter words as they are used in real sentences. This helps you grasp their meaning, usage, and tone. For example, imagine you read, "The little boy was thrilled to see the fireworks light up the sky." Even if you don't know the word thrilled, you can guess it means something like excited or happy. That's how we naturally learn words, through context. Reading also helps you notice synonyms in use. By exploring different texts, you'll come across words like happy, joyful, delighted, excited, and thrilled, each used in slightly different ways. Your vocabulary grows without the need for rote memorization. Improving grammar. Grammar can feel difficult if you only study rules, but reading makes it easier. When you encounter well-formed sentences in books, articles, or stories, your brain begins to absorb patterns naturally. For instance, reading "She has been living in London for 5 years" shows you the present perfect continuous tense in action. Even if you don't know the rule formally, your brain records the correct structure. The more you read, the more you internalize grammar, word order, and sentence flow. Prepositions, articles, and tenses start to make sense simply by seeing them used correctly over and over. With time, your writing and speaking improve, even without memorizing complex rules.
Enhancing comprehension. Reading isn't just recognizing words, it's about grasping ideas, opinions, and emotions in another language. Each time you read, you train your brain to process English more smoothly. Imagine reading an article on climate change. You may not know every word, but by focusing on main ideas, you can still follow the discussion. This is crucial in real-life conversations where English won't always be perfectly clear. Even if some vocabulary escapes you, you can rely on context, titles, headings, tone, whether it's serious, humorous, or informative, and the flow of ideas. Regular reading develops your ability to infer meaning without translating every single word. Improving writing and speaking. Reading also makes you a better communicator. You observe how sentences are constructed, how paragraphs flow, and how ideas connect. This translates directly into your own speaking and writing. For example, novels with dialogue show you how people naturally interact, asking questions, responding, expressing emotions. You can model your own conversations on these examples. Reading also introduces you to natural expressions.
Instead of always saying, I am very tired, you might learn, I'm exhausted, which sounds far more authentic. In writing, you see how good authors organize ideas, use punctuation, and keep readers engaged. By noticing these techniques, you can apply them in your own work.
Learning about culture. Reading is also a gateway to culture. Books, articles, and stories often reflect traditions and daily life in English-speaking countries. A short American story might reveal details of Thanksgiving or high school life, while a British novel could introduce afternoon tea, London settings, or even British humour. Language learning isn't just vocabulary and grammar, it's about understanding how people think, behave, and communicate. Reading gives you cultural insight and helps you connect more deeply with native speakers. As you can see, reading enriches your English on many levels: vocabulary, grammar, comprehension, communication, writing, and cultural understanding. It makes the whole process more meaningful and enjoyable. Reading for practical communication. Reading isn't only about words on a page. It directly strengthens your ability to communicate. Regular reading helps you absorb sentence structures, vocabulary, and natural expressions, making your speech more fluent and clear. Have you ever struggled to find the right words while speaking? Reading provides you with a mental library of phrases you can draw upon. For example, instead of saying, "Hello, how are you?" you might learn, "Hey, how's it going?" Instead of, "Where is the station?" you could say, "Could you tell me where the station is?" By reading real dialogues, you learn natural ways of expressing yourself, which makes real conversations much easier. Reading also trains your brain to think in English, which is key for fluency. Many learners pause because they're translating from their mother tongue. But if you've read plenty of English, common patterns already sit in your mind. When you speak, you don't build from scratch. You recall phrases you've seen before. For example, reading "I couldn't believe my eyes" in a novel allows you to later say, "I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw the fireworks." Fluency comes from absorbing patterns, not memorizing rules. Reading aloud is another excellent habit. It sharpens pronunciation, helps you catch the rhythm of English, and builds confidence. Reading aloud forces you to practice stressing certain words, linking sounds, and speaking smoothly. Pairing reading with audiobooks is even better. Listen first, then repeat, copying pronunciation and intonation. This helps you sound more natural over time. Choosing the right material. The kind of reading you choose matters. If the text is too difficult, you'll get frustrated. If too easy, you won't learn much. The goal is to pick materials at your level that also interest you. Beginners should start with graded readers, short stories, children's books, or comics with plenty of visuals. At an intermediate level, try adapted classics like Alice in Wonderland or The Little Prince. Choose books where you understand about 80% of the words.
Even more importantly, pick topics you enjoy. If you love football, read articles on Messi or Ronaldo. If you enjoy cooking, try recipe blogs. If you like science or history, choose simplified books in those areas. When you're interested, learning feels effortless. Mix different types of texts as well. Books improve vocabulary and grammar. Blogs and articles expose you to conversational English. Magazines show everyday usage, and audiobooks strengthen pronunciation and listening. Switching between formats keeps learning fresh and enjoyable. Building a reading habit. Finding the right materials is just the start. Consistency matters most. Set daily or weekly goals. If you're a beginner, aim for 1 page a day, a short article each morning, or 1 learner's book per month. Use a reading log to track progress and note down new words. Turn reading into a habit by attaching it to your routine.
Read an article at breakfast, a short piece during your commute, or a book before bed. Even 5 or 10 minutes a day makes a difference. Use apps like Kindle or LinkU and try reading the news on BBC Learning English. Create a comfortable environment too. Find a quiet place, keep a notebook for new words, and avoid distractions. Reading doesn't have to take extra time. You can read while waiting in a queue, traveling, or winding down before sleep.
Overcoming challenges. Of course, reading in English comes with obstacles. Unknown words are one common frustration. The solution is not to stop constantly, but to guess meaning from context and only use a dictionary when necessary. Focus on important, repeated words and prefer an English dictionary like Cambridge or Oxford to encourage thinking directly in English. Lack of motivation or time is another issue. Combat this by choosing material you genuinely enjoy and keeping sessions short. Read just a few paragraphs if that's all you can manage. Even small doses add up over time. Long texts can also feel intimidating. Break them into smaller chunks. Read a paragraph, summarize it in your own words, highlight key points, and note down new vocabulary. Reading aloud and writing short summaries can also boost understanding. Rereading a difficult text often helps it click the second time. Final thoughts. We've seen how reading is one of the most powerful tools for mastering English. It builds vocabulary, strengthens grammar, enhances comprehension, improves writing and speaking, and gives cultural insights. Above all, consistency is key. Even a few minutes daily can bring significant progress. Learning a language is a journey, and every small step takes you closer to fluency. So, what will you read next? Share your choice in the comments, whether it's a book, article, or short story. Keep reading, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next lesson.